All right, everybody. So we left off with making this bar and the sheet. I went ahead and rolled a second sheet to the thickness I want. I went ahead and shaped the bar. I used one of my little mandrels for my dapping block to actually get that rounded shape up in there, just like so. And then to make sure that both sides were parallel to one another, I used my square and sort of put the wire into the square so that I can see that those two ends will actually meet up. I actually have to fix it a little bit. You see it's kind of, you know, poking outward. I want those two to be parallel to one another. So I'll go ahead and work that out. And then the next step would be to solder it onto my plate. And then I will show you what I do with the second piece that I milled through this bad boy right here. So first things first, let's build this thing together. Make sure everything's gonna fit. Then we're going to flux it and solder it. I've got another piece that'll go along the bottom there. I like to put my frame on first, that way I can cut the ends off, because I've squared off and flattened that back sheet. That way I get a nice square corner when making these frames. And then I'll solder that bottom piece on after I cut and get everything squared off again down here at the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to do that, and then we'll get into the best part, the saw work. You can hear I'm not looking forward to it, but what I like to do is I like to take some of this sticky paper here and put it down onto my piece of metal, and then put a drawing onto it. So I went out to get inspired, and we went all the way out to Hunkalito Beach. And I thought, how beautiful is it that the desert butts right up with the ocean, just like that. And, I saw some windsurfers out there earlier. You can see the wind is ripping up there. And I got inspired. So, put that little piece of paper onto my metal, and I drew out this. Cactus, sand, and a surfboard. I think says it all. Baja Sur right there. So, the next part, as you guys can hear in my voice, is my favorite part. It's time to get the saw out and start cutting out my pieces so I can start fitting this shadow box together. See, it's gonna look kind of nice, I think. So, yay! All right, no more procrastinating. Let's go ahead and get to it. Alrighty, so first we're going to need to get the saw and make sure that we have the right saw blade on there. I have several sizes here. For this little stuff I like to use the number 3, sometimes number 2, but mostly the number 3. Today we're using the number 3. You can use 3-in-1 oil to lube your saw. I prefer just an old candle. It's quick and I can do it as I'm cutting. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Now, here's a little tip that I've learned breaking many saw blades. Not only to lubricate your saw blade, but move the blade up and down very quickly and allow it to pull itself through the metal, if you know what I mean. Usually when you're working a saw, you're kind of pushing. Don't do that. Let it saw and you'll get these nice clean cuts just like this. Take your time and lubricate your blade often. That is key. So I just wanted to throw this down to give you guys an idea. You could probably do a reverse, which looks cool, and that's something I might do. I have done, but that's not what I'm doing today. We're gonna go ahead and take the piece that I actually wanted and kind of fit it together. Now, before I build this thing out, I'm going to need to texture the background. So I went ahead, soldered the frame on there, and now I'm gonna break out my chasing hammer and tools, and I'm going to put a little texture, some water on the background there, and maybe even some birds or something. So I went ahead and did that. It's hard to see. I also cut up the edges there. I'll have to file all that back, sand it down nice and smooth. Come in with my Dremel tool, shape the surfboard, and then add texture. And then to highlight the texture, we're going to oxidize it with this stuff. And here you go. This is what it looks like after I've done that. I shaped the surfboard. I textured the sand. I textured the cactus. Chased the background, put the maker's mark on there, oxidized everything, and then buffed it all back, sanded it back. And this is what I got. This is my Shadowbox. So what do you guys think? Look at that. It's not too difficult. A lot of steps, a lot of time and effort, but I hope you guys liked it.